So I wanted to take a minute to re-explain the directions for the CELLO or CELLO project that we have to complete this week, just in case it was gone over too quickly for you in class, or if you just wanted to re-listen to the directions or pause it at different spots. So please feel free to listen to this as many times as you'd like. So, part of the introduction is that cells consist of many different organelles which all need to work together to help sustain life. With the majority of cells being microscopic, it's often challenging to imagine all these parts working together in one single cell. In this lab, you will be creating a model of the different cell parts using the materials provided for you in your science toolkit. So, the materials that you will find in that science toolkit, you should find like a small snack size Ziploc baggie that looks like it has like a colored powder in it. That's actually the Jello. So you'll need to locate that in your toolkit. I've provided that for you. If you cannot locate it or have misplaced it, you may need to try and get to the local grocery store to grab. I just used a half of a box for the amount that I gave to you. You'll need a Ziploc baggie, which was provided for you inside of the toolkit as well. You can take some things out of the Ziploc baggie, but I believe there was one that was empty in there, as well as any other materials that you find in there. So there were toothpicks, there were pipe cleaners, there were beads, there were beans, there was pasta. Anything that you find in there that you think might be applicable to this project, or really any other materials that you have laying around your house that you think could work. So, what you're going to basically do is you are going to be creating, once again, a model of the different cell parts using the materials that you have either around your home or in a toolkit. So, I have asked you for the first step in the procedure to brainstorm a list of materials, I should say, that you could use from either your science toolkit or from your house to represent the different organelles and cell parts. You must also include an explanation of why you selected these materials. So this data table here that you're going to complete is worth 24 points. And you can see that I've already identified the variety of cell parts or organelles that you need to include in your model. The two far right-hand columns are the ones that you need to complete, and then I will be grading. So for the nucleus, say you decided to use a bouncy ball. I'm just giving an example. I know that's not in the toolkit, but if you decide to use a bouncy ball, you would write like bouncy ball, and then you would explain why. So why do you feel like that bouncy ball represents the nucleus, and going so forth throughout all the different organelles that are identified there. The most important part, like I said, is not only telling me what the material is, but also the why, WHY. Why did you pick those materials to represent the different organelles? After that, you are to gather all of your materials that you have identified, and then you're going to make your cell. So on the directions of the bag of Jello that I gave to you in the toolkit, I gave you the recipe. I would like to have you ask, if you're not normally allowed to use your stovetop or whatnot, that you do ask for some adult help in regards to getting the boiling water for the Jello, and follow the directions that I once again have listed for you on the Jello bag, and allow it to cool just a bit. So you don't want it to completely solidify. You want it to be gelatinous in some form where it's a little wiggly, but you can still manipulate the liquid type of gelatin. And then I'd like you to add the materials that to the cooled Jello. So try and place them where they might be found in a real cell. So once again, up here, if I have the bouncy ball as the nucleus, I'm going to, after the Jello has cooled a little bit, place the bouncy ball strategically where I think it might be found if I were to be looking at a true image of a cell. After you have sealed the baggie up, keep it in your refrigerator after you've included all of the organelles that have been identified above. Let it cool in the refrigerator to kind of set. And then after you do that, you need to create a key on a separate piece of paper. You can do this in a variety of ways. You can, just like on a plain notebook piece of paper, you can either include like an extra sample of it. So if I use, say, one of those beans that I gave to you in the toolkit as one of the organelles, you could like glue that bean on and then next to it write what organelle it represents. You could take a picture and create like a digital key where you include the image and then next to it you type what organelle represents. It's really up to you. Just please keep in mind that I am looking for your best work since this is going to have your name attached to it. So do something that will not only be legible, but also will show that you took care and time on this project. Now, after you've created the key on the separate piece of paper, that's worth 20 points. I'd like you to take a picture and upload your image of your model to the Google Classroom and attach it to the assignment titled Cello, Cello. So the picture is worth 5 points, just so I can have a actual representation of your model. Unfortunately, since we're not in person, we would normally be doing this together and I'd be able to see it firsthand. So I'd like to see an actual physical image of this. And then I'd like you to complete the analysis questions, which are listed below, that are worth 25 points. So one point that I'd like you to notice is that if you are someone who would prefer to write out your answers because that's how you are able to communicate your thoughts a little bit more clearly, please do so. You'll just type directly into this Google document and I will grade it from there. I am looking for complete sentences with the questions restated in your answer. So for example, number 1, all cells are either eukaryotic or prokaryotic. What type of cell did you make? Explain. You would say, the type of cell I made was, and you'll insert your answer there, either eukaryotic or prokaryotic. You could say because and continue on, or you could end your sentence there and say it is this type of cell because, but everything needs to be, please, in complete coherent sentences. If you are someone who feels that you can be a little bit more articulate with recording yourself on Flipgrid, please note that that is also an option. And there is a Flipgrid link for you available within. If you just click this hyperlink right here, see it'll take you to, there's a Flipgrid link right there. It'll take you directly to the assignment. It's your choice to do one or the other. Once again, you do not need to do both. I'm going to say it again. You do not need to do both. You're either going to be typing your answers or in the Flipgrid, you're going to be stating the answers that you would normally write. So if I were on the Flipgrid, I would just say that the type of cell that I made was eukaryotic or prokaryotic because, and then you're going to give me some specific examples. All right, so it's important that you restate the question in your answer so I know which question you are answering. The next thing that I want you to understand is that if you are someone who decides to type in here, please note how I've asked you to use a different color for your text, because sometimes when we type in the black right underneath where I've typed, it's hard for me to identify where your answer starts and where my question stops. So please do that. And each question is worth 5 points. I'm hoping that you're finding this recording, if you felt like the directions were given a little too quickly for you in class, a good place to refer to. Maybe it's 2 days after you've been in class and you kind of forget what the project is about. That's what this recording is for. Please know, guys, I'm always here and available to help you. So please feel free to, if you are in 4th period, you can stop by office hours on Thursday. And 5th period, I will be giving you some time on Thursday to work on this assignment, as well as you can email me both periods, 4th or 5th, at any time, and I will help set some clarification if you need it. Best of luck, and I can't wait to see your guys' models.